Well, this is going to be a Raw review for the 29th of June. Couldn't really not review this one now, could I? Okay, it is said if you put a large group of monkeys in a room with a large group of typewriters, they will eventually write Shakespeare. Unfortunately, just as one monkey said to the rest of the group, "Hey, isn't Hamlet a Danish name?" they received a phone call from Vince McMahon. Vince, ever on the lookout for cheap labour, had decided to hire this group of monkeys in the surprisingly senior role as writers of Raw. These monkeys were bad at their job. They were bad by monkey standards. They were bad by the standards of non-humans. How else but with this theory can you explain Mark Henry defeating Randy Orton? That's career jobber Mark Henry defeating the face of the company and WWE champion Randy Orton. How else? Explain it to me. I know people like unpredictability in wrestling, but there's a line. Let's begin. Okay, we start off with Vince McMahon. I hate Vince McMahon. Alright, I hate the fact that he's getting himself involved in SmackDown now. SmackDown is a great show, it's a beautiful show, it doesn't need your gimmicky crap. I can handle you on Raw, because Raw is all gimmicky crap. But anyway, Vince McMahon comes out and he's talking about Donald Trump. Oh joy. And he says, Donald Trump is here, this would be commercial 3, if Donald Trump was here, everyone in the stands would get their money back. Bet you all wish Donald Trump was here. No we don't. No one wants to see Donald Trump. No one. Alright? Not even me. I hate you, Vince. Right? And you managed to find someone sufficiently unlikable that I would rather watch you than him. Okay, so congratulations on that. Yeah, and then he starts talking about how apparently Donald Trump, during his 1 week stint as owner of Raw, managed to get a lot done which caused trouble to Vince McMahon, including a 15 wrestler trade between all three brands, which I'll come to later, and is basically just ECW getting raped. That's all it is. But also, apparently, Donald Trump enforced this rule that there will be no GMs, there will just be guest celebrity hosts on each week of Raw. Now, the word celebrity fills me with terror when related to wrestling, but so far, both people who have got the gig have been wrestlers, so hopefully that will continue. So anyway, Vince McMahon just cut a heel promo. So he introduces his first pick as guest celebrity GM of Raw, and it's Batista, a face. That makes no sense. Anyway, Batista comes out. What also makes no sense, Batista has no mic skills, no charisma. Why is he in this role? Anyway, Batista comes out, and apparently he has all the powers of a GM, and he's decided to make a little tournament tonight, and it's going to be a tournament to decide who faces Randy Orton at Night of Champions for the WWE title. And can you really call it a tournament when it's only 2 matches and a final? That's my main question. But anyway, he's made this little tournament. It's Triple H versus MVP and John Cena versus The Miz. Winner goes on to the final, and winner of that goes on to face Randy Orton. When Batista announced The Miz's name, the King laughed. He laughed. I know the King laughs at everything. It seems to be his only way of conveying any kind of emotion, to be honest. But he laughed in the sort of way, just like, what the hell's The Miz doing this? The Miz is rubbish. And I was like, what is wrong with you, King? What is wrong with you? But anyway, after this, Legacy come out, and you know what I mean by Legacy come out. Randy Orton comes out, 2 guys stand innocuously to either side of him. That's what happens. That's all Legacy is. Randy Orton cuts a promo and he just says, what's to stop us just from coming down to the ring and beating you up, basically. And Batista says nothing except I can fire you all on the spot, which, you know, makes very little sense because they could just get rehired next week. But anyway, Batista has decided to put Randy Orton in a 3-on-1 gauntlet match tonight, with his 3 opponents being superstars that have come over from other brands to Raw in this Donald Trump trade bonanza. This actually I quite liked because this made sense. Batista said, I know you like your 3-on-1 fights, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of good. And then he banned Legacy from ringside, and but I like that because no one else has banned Legacy from ringside yet, and it makes no sense because Randy Orton's been feuding pretty much exclusively with Triple H and the McMahons, who have the power to ban Legacy from ringside, but whatever. Anyway, first match of the night is Triple H versus MVP in the Night of Champions tournament. This was shit. This was absolutely terrible. This was a terrible match in every sense. We all knew who was going to win. You know, I'm really annoyed about that just in general, but I was over it by the time the match even started. I knew Triple H was going to win. That's fine. I just accept it. Anyway, Triple H comes out. He's playing the wounded soldier after last night's... after the Last Man Stand, after... What kind of match was that? 3 Stages of Hell match. And he comes out, he's selling a knee injury, and MVP comes out to no pop once again. Apparently MVP's only role in WWE is to escort Sherry Shepherd to various events. MVP comes out, and, you know, Triple H, you know, if you're going to beat everyone, do you have to bury them? Do you have to make them look shit? Because that's what MVP looked at in this match. He looked utterly hopeless. It was just MVP trying to go after Triple H's injured leg and failing as Triple H just fought him off with punches. That was all this match was. Eventually MVP managed to actually work on Triple H's leg. You put him in a figure 4 leg lock, Triple H got out. He tried again about 4 more times to put in a figure 4 leg lock, and Triple H just threw him away. The rest of the match was MVP just grabbing Triple H's leg and Triple H just putting him in the pedigree position. That happened twice, and then eventually MVP went for the playmaker, Triple H reversed it and hit the pedigree. That was the end of the match. Terrible match. Really bad just in terms of wrestling. Really bad booking. I hate Triple H. Michael Cole says Triple H just continues to amaze. And I was like, it does continue to amaze me. How he gets away with this stuff and how the fans still like him even though he just buries everyone. Embarrassing. Also, the King just kept repeatedly saying, I don't think it matters that Triple H won this match. How is he possibly going to win the match later on tonight? There's no way he can beat The Miz or Cena. There's no way, etc. And until finally Cole just goes, actually, the match is next week. And that's that. I mean, ineptitude. Okay. Then we have the Colognes versus Edge and Chris Jericho, who the King calls Edge and Christian at some point during this match. Yes, apparently even the Colognes have a rematch clause, because this is for the Unified Tag Team Championship. Unified in no sense, of course, because Edge and Jericho come out with still wearing 2 belts, which looks even more ridiculous now that they've put the tag titles on big stars like Edge and Jericho. The good news is they're both holding mics, and Chris Jericho launched into a promo about how he vowed never to come back on Raw again because they always ignored his prodigious talent. Just brilliant stuff from Jericho. I like how they make Jericho's character claim he's an honest man, and yet they make him a liar all the time, so he came back on Raw even though he claimed he'd never come back on Raw. I like all that stuff. And then Jericho refers to the crowd as cretins, which they are, because they cheered Triple H versus against MVP in the last match, and they booed MVP. Come on. Then Edge gets on the mic, and Edge says that he was the one who instigated this alliance with Chris Jericho. He said they weren't getting the job done as singles competitors only because of the ineptitude of management, and together they can run the WWE, and he hinted at the way they're going to run it is because they've got the tag titles, they can appear on all 3 shows and destroy everyone, etc, etc. That was that. Carlito and Primo cut them off, so Jericho and Edge have cut a good heel promo designed to get the fans behind the faces, but just no one cares about Carlito and Primo. Literally no one. It's really sad. They are really good, but I mean, what can you do? Yeah, this is a good match. This actually is a good match. They start off, Primo starts off dominating the match. He dominates Jericho and Edge. Jericho and Edge, unlike Triple H and Cena, well, Cena actually did a little bit in tonight, but unlike Triple H and Cena in general, made their opponents look really good. And even though it was so obvious that Jericho and Edge were going to win, there were points during this match when even I was like, oh my god, the Colognes are going to win. You know, they just added such a legitimacy about it. They also made tag team wrestling look so good. Recently, tag team wrestling's been so boring, but Edge and Jericho show what it's all about. I loved it. Anyway, Jericho dominate Primo for ages. Michael Cole says this is classic Jericho, and I was like, why is it not vintage? Carlito gets the hot tag. Jericho goes for a lion salt. Carlito gets out of the way, and Carlito hits a springboard moonsault, basically the exact same move. Carlito eventually hits a backstabber. The ref, and I actually thought they might win, the ref comes over to make the count, and Jericho interrupts the count. Then there's a great bit. Primo does a suicide dive on Jericho to the outside, and this is a great ending, totally botched by the commentators. Okay, go into part 2, and I'll tell you about it.